What's up, y'all? It's your boy Rob, aka Creative Chavis, and I just got back from the Kendrick Lamar SZA Grand National Tour. Oh my god, what an incredible show. Where do I begin? Here's where we can start. Let's get into my shirt. So I got this shirt off of Instagram, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I cannot recommend the brand that I got it from, so I'm not even gonna say their names because there's a couple of things they did wrong. I'm just a perfectionist, and I just feel like it could have been a lot better than how it came out, but I did get some compliments on it. It's a nice collage with his name and all of his studio albums, as well as his mixtapes, and even some of his mixtapes when he was known as K Dot before he became Kendrick Lamar. The thing that kills me about this shirt, for Overly Dedicated and Section 80, they pulled these from like an Instagram repost app or something, because there's these little like watermarks for association with wherever they downloaded it from. Not only that, but a lot of the albums are pretty low quality. They could have did a lot better. And being a graphic designer, and I know people who create shirts, shout out to RSV Page, I could have had her print out anything that I designed instead of going with this, but the Instagram ads got me. The first time I saw it, I liked it, and then of course they kept showing it over and over again. So I said, you know what, let me buy it. I bought this shirt probably like 2 or 3 months ago, and I pretty much assumed I wasn't going to be able to wear it to the show because it took so long to get to my house, and then it's a little tighter than it should be. This is an extra large. I don't know. But anyways, this is the shirt that I wore to the concert, and I've been a fan of Kendrick Lamar's since Section 80. I think the very first song I heard from him was High Power, and I checked out the album at the time, fell in love with ADHD, and then I went back and listened to Overly Dedicated, and at the time I was big on Jhené Aiko, and the first song has her on it. I think my favorite song off of this is probably Cut You Off. But I ended up becoming a huge TDE fan during this era, and I went and listened to Schoolboy Q, Ab-Soul. I ended up becoming a big Isaiah Rashad fan. I started listening to Z, really just to listen to Babylon from SZA and Kendrick Lamar. And this is way back when. Just to see the growth of those two artists, both of them headlined the Super Bowl this year. They both had #1 albums. They both won Grammys this year, and they currently have a song that's #1 on the Billboard charts, and it's been that way for the past 10 weeks, and it's pretty much a sure lock to get 11 weeks. SZA, who also had a #1 movie in the box office with One of Them Days with Keke Palmer, they've reached incredible heights in their careers this past year. The first time I saw Kendrick Lamar in concert was actually during this era. He performed in Houston, Texas at Warehouse Live. He was performing to a crowd that I'm not even sure if the crowd was sold out, but the capacity is 1,300. The second time I saw him was at the Woodlands Pavilion, and that was for the Championships tour. So Sir opened up, I believe it was J-Rock, Schoolboy Q, and then SZA and Kendrick Lamar closed the concert out. The capacity for the Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion is 16,500. The 3 times that I've seen Kendrick Lamar, he's gone from a 1,300 capacity venue to a 16,000 capacity venue to selling over 50,000 tickets, along with SZA. So the amount of growth is just insane to witness, and I'm glad I've been a fan for so long. Particularly this past 12 months have been insane. Euphoria came out today, 1 year ago, and he's just been on a monumental run ever since that song came out. So first thing I noticed when I got to the stadium, this was a couples tour. I went to the On the Run show with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and that was also a couples tour. You could see just a ton of couples, and you could tell the dude was there for the dude that's performing and the girl is there for the girl that's performing. Those types of concerts tend to sell really well. It's perfect date night. This was actually my very first time going to a concert completely solo, and I had a great time. I didn't have to wait on anybody to get tickets or to try to decide where we're gonna sit, how much we're willing to pay. I set my own budget, and I was in the 200 section, so I had an incredible view. I grabbed myself a double shot of Hennessy drink. It was Hennessy and ginger ale, double. I grabbed that before I sat down, and I was pretty lit. Now, at one point in the concert, I had to pee so bad, but my seat was in the middle of the row, and I'm like, it's gonna be too much of a hassle for me to try to get out, get through all these people, and come back, and who knows what songs I'm gonna miss. Thankfully, I was able to hold it until the end of the concert. Now, I thought the way that they set up the set list was interesting. Like I said, I went to the On the Run tour, and Beyonce and Jay-Z came out together and did a bunch of songs together before they started splitting up their sets. With this tour, it started with the first track of GNX and ended with the last track of GNX. So this was the GNX tour. It's literally the Grand National Tour. I think it was pretty balanced. The audience was super diverse. I mean, all races, all ages, all genders, and non-gender conforming. It was pretty interesting. In my section, it was a good mix of Kendrick and SZA fans. I know the people that were sitting directly either side of me were all huge Kendrick fans, and pretty much the entire row behind me were big SZA fans. I mean, they were shouting the whole concert. And every time SZA was on stage, I would look back, and it was these two white dudes. They were two white gay dudes for sure. And they knew every single word of every single song. And I remember the thing about SZA, I had Z with Babylon and Child's Play, and loved Control. I like SOS a lot. LANA, I haven't got into all the way. So when she was doing songs from LANA, I didn't necessarily know the words to them. Them boys, that's their girl. So it was interesting catching the vibe of the audience during certain songs. I know at one point SZA did Kiss Me More, the song she has with Doja Cat, and the dude next to me that was definitely a big Kendrick fan, he wasn't nodding his head or anything. And I saw him take his phone and hit Shazam and then add Kiss Me More to his playlist. And I thought that was hilarious. Cause I'm like, yeah, you like this one. You could feel the energy when Kendrick did his singles from GNX. Definitely, Squabble Up, TV Off. I don't know if Peekaboo is necessarily a single yet, but it's been used a lot. It's in the Gatorade commercial. But yeah, the energy was wild. All of the diss songs, people were really hyped for King Kunta and DNA. It wasn't like an audience full of brand new fans. These were definitely old fans as well. I like that SZA incorporated the Justin Timberlake sample before she sung The Weeknd, because a lot of people don't know that that's a Justin Timberlake Timbaland sample from the Set the Mood prelude before Until the End of Time on the Future Sex Love Sounds album, which I haven't listened to that album in years. I might need to listen to that at work tomorrow. He had a section where he mixed in Anita Baker's Sweet Love with Mad City, and that sounded incredible. And Anita Baker was all over that set list. They had her played in a couple of the interludes. They played a lot of her music before the concert even started. So yeah, he meant that riding in my GNX with Anita Baker in the tape deck line. Now, I saw the set list before I went to the show, so I was kind of familiar with what songs he was going to do. One song that was never on the set list that we got as Atlanta, like our special song, was N95, which was great because I felt like that's just a really good song to perform, especially in a stadium. And the audience reacted well to it. Everybody loved that. Good Credit, Playboy Cardi came out, which was great. It was a great guest. The crowd was hype. It was a lot of screams. I remember one of the guys behind me, and I didn't record it. I had already turned off my camera, but he was like, "Oh my God, this is the best guest performance ever. Like, that was the best guest he could have brought out." And in my head, maybe it's because I'm a little older, but I really thought he was going to bring out Future and Metro Boomin for Like That, and he did not. And I'm not really sure what the relationship between him and Future is at the moment. I feel like both him and Metro Boomin kind of tried to distance themselves from the beef once Drake sued. So maybe they just didn't want to be a part of that moment. Who knows? It could be scheduling, anything. But it was great that Playboy Cardi came out. I'm not the biggest fan of his. But like I said, I'm a lot older, and a lot of younger people love him. And I was definitely around a lot of younger people. But like I said, it was so diverse. There was a family in front of me. I think I grabbed a picture. The dad and the son both had on jerseys that said Good Kid and Mad City on them, and I thought that was cute. People talked about the two of them performing a lot of Drake disses or songs that Drake is featured on. But I'll be honest, I really wasn't thinking about Drake during Euphoria or even Like That. Of course, everybody said the "It's Just Big Me" line, but even when we got to Not Like Us, I wasn't even thinking about Drake. It was just, at this point, the song is much bigger than him and the beef altogether. It's one of the biggest hip hop records of all time, and it's about to go diamond, 10 times platinum, and the song hasn't even been out for an entire year. Kendrick did Poetic Justice, another song with Drake on it. I wasn't thinking about Drake, and some guy behind me said, where's Drake's verse? And it's funny because prior to that song, he was letting the guest verses play. When Hey Now came on, he pretty much had a whole section devoted to Dodie Six's verse. And I can't think of the guy's name, but he's in the Not Like Us video dancing, and he went viral when he was a kid for dancing. I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up, but he had a whole solo dance moment, and that dude can dance. He was killing it. And it's funny because he dresses exactly like Kendrick Lamar. So if you're not paying attention, you'll think that's Kendrick Lamar dancing like that on stage. Peekaboo, they let the AZ verses ride. A lot of the songs, they pretty much let the guest verses play. So it makes me wonder if he's gonna bring out more guest features at the LA show. But Playboy Cardi was the first guest feature of the tour so far, which was fitting for Atlanta. But I will say, when SZA did Rich Baby Daddy, I was like, okay, this is wild that they're doing this, because Sexy Red said, "Shake that ass for Drake." But whatever, everybody was having a great time. I don't think she did Saturn, which she usually does at the other shows, but she did Nobody Gets Me But You, which I like that song. I think I like Saturn better, but whatever, we got something different for the Atlanta show. I really like that he split up TV Off into two separate sections, because TV Off is a song that I would expect for him to perform towards the end of the show, because it's such a big song and it's so new. So hearing it up front was great, and then still hearing it towards the end of the show before Not Like Us was perfect. I will say Gloria was kind of weird to end on. I get that the album ends with Gloria, but it just, I don't know, it just felt kind of off. There's only 2 songs on GNX that he didn't perform, and that's The Heart Part 6 and the title track GNX, which that I understand because there's so many people on that song, and I don't even think it would make sense for Kendrick to perform that without them. The Heart Part 6 I would have loved to see him perform it, but one thing he did do, which I love, is it's played in the interlude with him and SZA going to the gas station, and then they play it again at the very end of the concert. So it's like the walkout song, and it kind of feels like you got the entire album because of that. GNX, the title track, is definitely a song I would like for him to perform with all of the guests at the LA shows. Okay, it says SZA performed Nobody Gets Me, which I said, and debuted What Do I Do in the Atlanta concert. See, unfortunately, I don't know the LANA songs like that, so I didn't even realize that she debuted a new song. Now, keep in mind, the Atlanta show is only the fourth tour date in the entire tour. He still has, 35 shows to go. So I'm sure they're gonna switch out songs pretty frequently. But all in all, I really enjoyed it. The graphics were out of this world. Really shout out to the graphic artist and the videographer, production. Everybody working behind the scenes did an incredible job. Outside of Kendrick and SZA as performers, the production level and quality was through the roof. There was pyro. Like at one point, it really felt like fireworks were going off inside of the stadium. The visuals to me were up there with Beyonce's. And I love that they had an actual GNX car on stage, just like at the Super Bowl. The dancers, oh man, shout out to the dancers. All of them did a really good job on SZA's side and Kendrick's side. And also they had the PlayStation controller icons. So the triangle, the circle, the square. They didn't have the X. I guess that represents the main stage. SZA's really going hard with the bug theme, which I think is really unique, and I haven't seen that before within an R&B or pop artist in recent years that I can think of. So it just felt fresh and different. A lot of nature and a lot of straight up bugs. When she flew into the air, she looked like a bug. She rode a bug like it was a motorcycle. The visuals showcased a ton of bug creature type things and a lot of nature, moss, grass. She was on theme for sure. But also when they did their shows together, they have genuine chemistry, and of course they would. They've been working together for so long. You can tell that they have like a little sister, big brother type of connection. I said they remind me of Dexter and Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory. Especially with Kendrick being a little shorter than SZA. They definitely give sibling vibes. But man, I am exhausted from screaming at this show and walking. Let me tell you, I thought it was a wise idea to park my car somewhere else instead of paying for parking near the stadium and take a Uber to the stadium, not thinking about having to take an Uber back. And it's 50,000 people at one time trying to get an Uber. So there was price surging and long wait times. One of the Ubers said it would take 50 minutes to get to me, and most of them were over $50. So I just started walking. I found a food truck that had bacon wrapped hot dogs. It was so good too, and I got that with some Zapp's voodoo chips and a bottle of water. And I said, okay, I'm gonna eat my hot dog, eat my chips, drink the water, and walk while I'm doing that. And hopefully I'll get further enough from the stadium that the Uber prices will go down. And that didn't happen. And then I walked some more. They still didn't go down enough. And so I walked a little more, and I ran into these two really pretty girls, and they were scared walking by themselves, and I guess I looked trustworthy enough, so I walked with them. We ended up exchanging Instagram profiles, and we were talking about everything the whole way. So even though I came alone, I ended up making some friends, And I walked all the way back to where my car was. And mind you, I Ubered to the concert from where my car was. So it was probably an hour walk. And I remember the girls, they said something about being tired. And I'm like, y'all are young and able bodied. And they were like, nah, not really. I said, y'all look about 23. And I hit the nail on the head. They were 23. And I told them I was 35. And they both said, damn, you really don't look that old. and I told them it's because I'm wearing the hat. And so I showed them my bald head. And they were like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a little more sense. But I was happy to keep them company. They did get scared by a couple of beggars on the way, and just just people that are strung out and just on the street. So I did what I could to make them feel safe, but really they were making me feel safe because I was happy to have some company on that long walk to the car. So my thighs are killing me. I didn't go to the gym today, but I was able to close my rings, and I almost closed tomorrow's rings because it was midnight, and so a lot of that goes over until the next day. Aw, I literally just got a message from them saying, just making sure you made it to your car safely. Thank you again for walking us back. See, you never know what could happen when you do things on your own. So this is the first time that I've ever gone to a concert by myself, but I'm also going to Beyonce's concert in July by myself. And also, I went and saw Sinners by myself. So this is kind of like a solo year for me, and I'm kind of enjoying it. But I think I covered everything. That was my experience. Did you make it to see Kendrick Lamar and SZA? Do you plan on going to see Kendrick Lamar and SZA? Are you anti Kendrick Lamar and SZA? Let me know in the comments, and be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, peace.